Hey there, chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I am your forensic fatale, and Natalie is your true crime addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls who obsess about dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown with our best makeup or something like that. This is like
Yeah,
my best. This is
this
the
is the
best that's
best.
going to
This
happen,
is the best that we
okay?
got. Here's your disclaimer, chatters. The following Crime Chat does contain adult content and descriptions of violent scenarios today, so your listener discretion is advised.
You have been warned that before we get in today's crime chat, we interrupt our regular scheduled crime chat to bring you a crime and cosmetics special.
Yes, we have a special guest, our very first guest on the Crime Chat with us today, our friend and professional makeup artist, Paul Dao. Welcome, Paul.
Yay, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy you're here.
But yes, Paul, I want you to tell our chatters who you are and what you do, and we'll get into why that ties into what what Kat is gonna go over today in a crime chat.
Okay, dope. So I am Paul Dao. I am a makeup artist, turned content creator during the lockdown pandemic. And so I do makeup tutorials online and work with a lot of makeup brands to, get people deals and yes, just help people learn about makeup.
My favorite palette is your romance palette with Fatal Beauty. I use that sucker all the time. I absolutely love it.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of that palette. Honestly, I just like it's wild to me that any of this is like my real life,
Yeah.
We have been fans of yours for, oh my God, COVID, what, 2.5 years now we've known you? We've been just like Paul Dao,
and
big super fans.
and also ditto, and the support that you guys have shown, and I've said this before, because you guys do have, especially like your group, you have a big audience, right? You do have a big platform, and to get that kind of support from other people who have big platforms like that, it doesn't happen every day. So I really want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Kat, you know that you can't get away with this. What have you done this week?
Girl, I'm hooked. I am sucked in to you.
Me?
Well, not like you. I mean, I love you.
Oh.
The Netflix show, You. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I binge watched that already. Yeah.
Okay. So it's been on my watch list since it came out. Like it's always something that I want to get back to. And they just came out with a season 4. So I was like, you know what? Now is the time. Now is the time. So I'm almost at the end of season 2. And have you seen it, Paula? I don't want to give anything away.
I've seen the first season.
Okay.
I didn't know there were 4.
4. Yeah, they just came out with season 4. So Joe is like the creepiest, scariest person like ever. And the craziest thing about it is it's probably like there's people out there like him.
Oh yeah.
This is the main character.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So it must get worse season, and you can go ahead and spoil anything.
Okay.
It must get worse season 2, 3, and 4. Because in the first season, I was low key like getting ladywood for him.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, like there is that attraction. There is that attraction to him.
I want someone to stalk me like that.
Exactly. I know. Like, so do you remember in the first season? So there's Candace who kind of comes back and haunts him.
Yes.
Okay, so she actually isn't dead. She actually is alive and makes her like straight up appearance in season 2. And I'm at the end of season 2. Candace doesn't make it, like for real.
Oh.
But yeah, sorry. Spoiler alert, chatters,
Girls usually don't live around him. Like, I mean, they die often.
But it's also at the same time, like you feel that like that obsessiveness, and I hate to say understand how he justifies it.
he's that silent, strong type that you would introduce to your parents. You know, like he's that guy that is very like unassuming. You sit there and you're like, he looks like a great somebody that you can build a future with. Then he turns out to be has a cage in his basement. It's time, right?
That's normal, right? That's normal.
So when are you gonna show me your cage? Is that a second date thing?
Been binging anything, Natalie?
I watched, so Paul, last week we went over we did the story of the Alaskan human hunter. And it was about the serial killer in Alaska that would hunt women. Like he would turn them loose in Alaska and then take his rifle and go hunting them. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. So there's a movie based on it. It's called Frozen Ground, and I watched it, and it's really good. Like they pulled actual events. They had to tweak the story a little bit. They left out John Douglas, so they kind of like tweaked that a little bit. But
they probably didn't have his approval or whatever.
I know, but it was good. They did a good job. It was Nicolas Cage, John Cusack. It's good actors.
Oh wow, yeah, big actors.
Yeah, it was good. They did a good job. And then I watched. Did you guys watch the Rose Red on Netflix? Have you heard?
I haven't heard of that.
I recommend it. It's really good.
Okay.
So it's about this. It's based in UK, and it's about these group of kids, teenagers, that download this app, and this app just trolls them, stalks them, trolls them, everything. And it's so like, I think and the three of us can relate to it a little bit because we've all been there where it's like, how is this person like getting in my DM? Like it's just
right. Yes.
You have to check it out.
How did this person get my address and show up to my door?
Yes.
Have you been watching any shows or anything?
Yeah, I have. I've been so White Lotus, obsessed.
I've heard was good. Yeah.
I love HBO shows, and then The Last of Us on HBO. I've really been sucked into.
I talked to Natalie about that a few weeks ago. I started the first episode, but it was only when they just came out. And most chatters know this. I'm a binger. So I've been waiting for it to build so I can watch like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's worth it then. Because I liked the first episode. Like you could tell that there was more like to it than, from the first episode. I don't know if you saw this, but Bailey tweeted, I've decided I'm going to marry, what's his name? Pedro Pascal. That's all. And I think it was probably because of that. Pedro Pascal is the guy in The Last of Us.
The lead guy?
The lead character, yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. Well, he was in Star Wars. He's been in
okay. Oh,
yeah.
I gotta wait for my HBO subscription because I only subscribe to it when Game of Thrones is on. House of Dragons. The only time I have an HBO
comes back.
Yes, then I'll catch up on that.
Nat, our story is about the 2016 spree murders in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Before we get into the deets, though, Paul, you are very familiar with this story.
Oh my God, tell us what happened, please.
I'm very familiar with this story because I lived in the same town. I lived in that town when that happened. And a big part of the story of where he was at the dealership. Yeah. I had been there looking for cars an hour or two before.
Wow. At that same Kia dealership.
And I had gone because it was after hours. I knew I wouldn't be harassed, but you know what I mean, by like any of the salesmen. Right. And so I could just like drive around or walk around and look. And yeah.
Have you looked like into the story or like after everything, had it happened? Like, were you watching it on the news? Because there's some other things that we'll kind of talk about how they use the news media to get the message out.
Yeah, definitely. I was hooked to it. Like the whole from the breaking news the night that it was happening, and everyone like they were like stay inside. They were still trying to figure out what was going on, and I was so fascinated, especially after they caught him, about like why. That's what I really wanted to know the most was like, what does he have to say about it? And so I really stayed like, yeah, I was in it and on it because it was so wild that it was in my town too.
That is crazy. Thank you for sharing. I know we have you on here to kind of like, because one, it's a crime and cosmetics, right? So you are a professional makeup artist and you were so close to this crime story. It's making it part of our crime and cosmetics segment. So you're running potential, could have been running with this infamous mindless spree killer. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you were in that place right before it all happened.
Really scary. And and I lived like, I mean, just less than a mile essentially from like kind of, because it is right there.
Yeah, and everybody uses Uber. Like, who the hell doesn't use Uber? Especially if so it's like,
especially
I would have been calling family and friends, like, are you home? Like, did you take an Uber tonight? Like, oh no.
Straight, I think that because it was so many years ago, I'm sure I did check in with some of my friends then. And I do think it was a weekend day.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? It was like a Friday or Saturday.
So get this, it was Saturday, February 20th, 2016. Today is February 20th, 2023. Happy Uberversary?
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
So that was unintentional. As I was writing the story, I was like, holy shit, that's the day we're recording.
I bet there's stuff on the news about it today. Seriously.
Yeah, so you're right. It was a Saturday. Yep. So on February 20th, 2016, at around 4 p.m., a man named Matt Mellon called for an Uber to take him to a friend's house. Uber driver Brian Dalton was the driver in a silver Chevrolet Equinox when he picked up Mellon. During the drive, the two made small talk. Mellon said he was just really casual, like nothing big they talked about, just like, hey, how are those lions doing? That small talk kind of thing. And then Dalton received a phone call. Now, I could not find anywhere in the research who was on the call, what it was about, and why his behavior snapped. Right after that phone call, Mellon said he immediately started to drive erratically after he hung up the phone. He put the pedal to the metal, was starting to speed, drove into oncoming traffic, drove through a median, ignored stop signs, sideswiped a Ford Taurus, and then Mellon yelled and was like, hey, dude, let me out. Get me out of here. But Dalton refused to stop the car. However, Dalton did actually stop at a stop sign and Mellon beat it. He was like, I'm out of here.
Thank God.
So he called Eldridge back and was like, hey, I can't find it. Do you have any further directions? So Eldridge, they got off the phone. She tried to call her boyfriend. And then when she tried to call Dalton back to make sure he found the address, he didn't answer. Instead, Dalton found 25-year-old Tiana Carruthers walking 5 children from the apartment complex to a nearby playground, within that complex area. Dalton drove up to Carruthers and asked her if she was Mrs. Eldridge, the person that was making the Uber request. Of course she wasn't, and he knew that she wasn't because he just got off the phone with her.